Welcome to Rick Rack Ruby. I'm Laura Cluvo. Today we will be making this gathered wreath ornament from the Winterly Fabric Collection. It's fun and easy, so let's get started. To make our wreath ornament, we will start with a strip of fabric 3 inches wide and 22 inches long. I'm going to fold the long edges together, right sides together, and stitch along the open edge with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Here we go. Now I'm going to try to turn this right side out using a bodkin. I mean, there's lots of ways. You can use a safety pin or a stick or even just do it by hand, but let's just try the bodkin. I have a lot of success with this. Or sometimes this is called a loop turner. So see the hook and this little gadget that closes? It's like a little hinge there. So I'm going to hook this. It needs something to hold on to, so I'm going to see if it'll hold on to the seam allowance. And then I've closed that little hook, the little hinge, and I'm going to gently just kind of pull it through. There we go. There's not much to it. I'm going to go over to my iron and press this flat. Here, I'm just going to unhook that. And I'm going to press this flat with the seam on the edge. I wanted to show you this little technique for making sure that I get that seam allowance right on the edge. I'm just moistening my fingers. I keep a little cup of water and I'm kind of rolling the fabric here, the seam allowance, to feel the edge and to make sure that I get it right on the edge, and then I've already started pressing it here. So you can see that it's really easy just to sort of roll and press along here to make sure that I have that right on the edge. And now my tube is pressed flat. I have the seam at the top, and at this point it's really important to establish the direction. I want the seam to be at the top right here. But you can see that if I do it this way, this is going to be upside down because this is the way that the wreath is going to be. Now with this print, it's not so obvious, but I still want to do it the right way. So this will be the inside of the wreath, and this is the outside of the wreath. So my next step is to apply some trim. I'm going to use rickrack. I like the green rickrack. You know, sometimes when you make a wreath, if you make it too green, it doesn't even show up on your tree. So I chose this, this lighter print, and I'm going to add the green. I did do a couple of other versions with different combinations of trims and fabric. I'll show you those at the end, but I think this is my favorite. So I will thread my machine with green thread. So I'm going to line up my rickrack so that the top edge of the rickrack is right at the top seam, making sure that my print is going in the right direction. I put green thread in the top and I left the white in the bobbin, and I stitched that down, and now I'm going to sew a channel. So I put white thread back in, and you know, depending on the size of your ring, every ring is a little bit different and has a little bit different size. So, you know, sometimes I just kind of measure like this. The beginning is always fatter. And so I want that to be nice and snug, but not so impossible. And then I'll kind of mark it. I want it to be about right here. And then I'll sew for about 1 inch and make sure I can get that in. And then as long as I can get the beginning in, I know I'm good to go. So then I will just continue to stitch all the way down. Back stitch at the beginning and the end. Here we go. This, for my ring, was about 5/8 of an inch from the fold. And then I'm going to carefully insert this end and work it all the way around. There we go, and now I'm connecting the ends here, and I'm just going to sort of smush them together here right at the edge where they connect. And I'm going to make sure there's a lot of fullness right there. And this is folded back. Here, can you see that? See? That's folded back, and then I'm going to hot glue that right there. It looks kind of like a seam that way. Boom. Just a little bit of hot glue. Great. Now we're going to decorate. These are so easy and fun. I've done these a lot of different ways with a lot of different decorations, but I decided to keep this one simple. We are just going to use 2 little spun cotton mushrooms. I think these are from like Michael's or maybe Hobby Lobby. We're really lucky in Phoenix. There's a million craft stores. Okay, twist those together like that. They're going to be set right over the overlap of the edges of the fabric right there. And so in order to be sure that I have something for the glue to stick to, I'm going to sort of fold this up and twist it around to form sort of like a little penny here. A flat little circular shape, sort of like that. Because the hot glue definitely would melt this foam. I called it spun cotton, but I think it's actually like a styrofoam, some kind of a foam. So I'm going to apply some glue right here. And then I'm going to press that onto the overlap. Let's see if I can find it. I'm going to press it right here over the overlap. So kind of like, I'm trying to determine which side of the mushrooms that I like the best. I think this side. There's the overlap. I'm just going to press it right there. There's my hot glue on the wire, not so much on the mushroom. And I'm just pressing it right there where those edges overlap. Great. I think that's good. Now, of course, that's unsightly, so we're going to cover that. I have cut a couple of the stars from this star lace that I got from Temu. Get a lot of use out of this. And then I've also pulled out some red and white baker's twine. I'm going to tie a little bow from this twine. Not too small. You know, I want it to be, you know, part of the decoration there, so I don't want to make it too small. Okay, I'm going to apply a little bit of glue here, and I'm just going to press this just below the mushrooms. Just right there. I will apply a little bit of glue here to hold that loop because this one's kind of twisty. Just a little bit of glue and then just place it right there. This one's fine. And then I'm going to tie a little overhand knot into the bottom of each streamer. There's one. You don't want them dangling too far down. Great, that looks good. Turn those off a little. And then I'm going to put this bigger star right here at the bottom of the mushrooms, and then put this one like randomly out somewhere else. So I'll apply some glue to the back. And then press that right there, good. And then this one, a little bit of glue, maybe like right here. That looks good. Okay, now the trick is I want to add a hanging loop, but I want it to hang straight. So I think I like to have the decoration at about 4 o'clock. That looks good. And there we go. Awesome, we are done. Now, as promised, I will show you a couple of variations. First, I have this one, which is just about the same, except I use these little turquoise mushrooms and they just don't show up very well. So that was a bomb. And then I thought it might be fun to use a stripe. In my idea, in my brain, the stripes all were just like perfectly, you know, like a starburst straight out, and that wasn't quite how that looked, but it's still okay. Then I had the idea to decorate with, you know, like a little angel, and I used the darker green fabric and the green rickrack, and of course you can barely notice the rickrack, so I knew I needed to do something different there. And the angel was just too big. So I still gave it another try. The red rickrack, of course, is better, but the angel was still too big. So I decided to just stick with the original with the red, larger mushrooms, the white tree print, and the green rickrack. And this is definitely my favorite. Here's the first one that I made. Also really super cute. I definitely like this the best. So anyway, we're done. This is the winterly wreath. Thank you for watching my tutorial. If you're enjoying my videos, please like, share, and subscribe.